Yeah, exactly. Come on, look at more. Alright, now in today's lesson, we are going to be solving some likely JAMB 2026 questions for the examination. Okay, now we're going to be solving quite a lot of questions, so I'll advise you get your stationery ready so you can solve with me. And also, if you have any more questions as well, you can also drop in the comment section. I will always respond to it. Okay, now we're going to be taking some questions that JAMB will likely bring out this in the examination. Okay, some of these ones are very, very tricky. Okay, that's exactly why you must solve them with me. Now, the first question there is on differentiation. Okay, differentiation. Now, differentiation is an aspect of calculus that many students find difficult. That is exactly why I'm going to be tackling this aspect. Okay, as the first question on our list. Okay, now the question is differentiate x, or rather differentiate with respect to x, y equals sine 2x minus cos 2x. Okay, question one is differentiate, differentiate, comma, with respect to x, okay, with respect to x, y equals 2x minus cos 2x. Okay, 2x minus cos 2x. Okay, differentiate with respect to x, y equals 2x minus cos 2x. Okay, now there are options there as well. Okay, there are some options here. I think this mic has stopped working. Okay, sorry about the inconvenience I might have caused you. Okay, let's proceed to solving this particular question. Now, as a smart jam student, you need to solve this question in less than 10 seconds, okay? Because it is not so complex. Now, I'm going to be solving this question, solving it the easiest way possible. Now, we are differentiating y with respect to x. Okay, now anytime you differentiate y with respect to a dominant variable on the right hand side, it is dy over d of what is on the other side. That is when you differentiate y, you get dy over what? The x. Okay, now how do you differentiate to x? Now to differentiate to x, you know that there is an invisible one on top of x. Okay, now this one is going to multiply the two. 1 times 2, that is 2. Okay, x to the power of 1 minus 1. Okay, now minus, now when you differentiate cosine, when you differentiate cosine, what do you get? When you differentiate cosine, you get minus sign. Okay, so you're going to get what now? Minus sign. Okay, but we're not going to specific cosine. There's a 2x in front. We also differentiate what is in front of the function. So differentiate 2x, you get what now? 2. Then you have what now? 2 in front. Okay, so I'm going to write this as minus 2. Write the function again, 2x. Hence, we're not going to have x to the power of 1 minus 1, that's x to the power of 0 is 1. So we have 2 times what now? 1. Minus times minus is plus. 2 sine 2x. Okay, so we have 2 plus 2 sine what now? 2x. Okay, and that is the answer for question 1. Okay, very, very easy. As usual, you can always drop your answers in the comment section. I'll check for it just as I am solving the question on the board. Okay. Okay. Now there's another question here as well. There's another question. The question says, evaluate x plus root 28. Question 2. Evaluate evaluate 8 plus root 28. Okay? 8 plus root 28 divided by 2 plus root 7. 2 plus root 7. Evaluate 8 plus 28 all divided by 2 plus root 7. Okay, what is the solution? You might as well want to attempt this particular one on the board. You might as well want to attempt this particular one on the board. Okay, I'll give you guys some seconds to attempt it. I'll give you guys some seconds to attempt this particular question on the board. I'll give you guys some time to attempt this particular question on the board. Okay. Now I'm going to solve this particular question on the board. Evaluate 8 plus root 28 over 2 plus root 7. Now, whenever you are seeing a sum in a denominator, the first thing you want to do, okay, is rationalize. That's the first thing that should come to your mind. How do you rationalize for a case like this? You multiply the top and bottom by the conjugate of the denominator. What is a conjugate? If you have 2 plus root 7, the conjugate of 2 plus root 7 is 2 minus root 7. Okay, 2 minus root 7. Okay, if you have 3 plus root 7, what is the conjugate? 3 minus root 7. If you have 3 minus root 7, what is the conjugate? 3 plus root 7. Okay, so for this guy, we're going to multiply the top and bottom by the conjugate. So we have 8 plus root 28 divided by 2 plus root 7. And multiply the top and bottom by 2 minus root 7 divided by 2 minus root 7. Okay, now we multiply it together, so we get, we're going to have 8 plus root 28 in bracket times 2 minus root 7 divided by 2 plus root 7, okay, times 2 minus root 7. Okay, that's what you are going to have. That's values we are going to have. Now let's simplify further. 8 times 2 is 16. Okay? 8 times minus 7 is minus 8 with 7. Okay, minus 8 with 7. Okay? With 28 times 2, we have plus 2 with 28. With 28 times minus 7, so we have minus root 28 times 7. Okay? Now, we need to show the same multiplying that because we're actually trying to break it down. Okay, so you have to show the same multiplying that guy over there. And for the bottom, we can apply difference of two squares instead of multiplying this one by itself. Okay, like multiplying 2 by this and this guy and so on and so forth. Now apply what we call the difference of two squares. Now, what is the difference of two squares? If we're having a squared minus b squared, it is equal to a plus b times a minus what now b. That is, if we're having a squared, a number squared minus another number squared, you can put it as this bracket that you are seeing here. Likewise, if you are having this bracket here, you can write it like this, which means you are going to pick the negative one, put square on each of them, subtracting them. So for this bottom, you can pick the negative one, put square on each of them, and then we subtract. So we have 2 squared minus square root of 7, okay, all squared. Okay, from here, let's simplify. Okay, now we're having 16 minus root 8 root 7. So we have 16 minus 8 root 7, okay, plus 2. Now with 28, can we actually break it down? 28 can be divided by 4, right? And when 28 goes into 4, we get 7, isn't it? So we can write this as square root of 4 times 7, okay, minus the square root of 28 again is 4 times 7 times what? 7. Divided by 2 squared is 4, minus this square can cancel this square root, okay? So I left with what now? I left with 7. Okay, that is exactly what we are left with. Now let's simplify further. We are still having 16 minus 8 with 7. Okay, now 4 times 7. We're not going to multiply today. Now the square root of 4 is what now? 2. 2 times 2 is what now? 4. So we have plus 4. Square root of what is left inside? We have what now? 7. Minus square root of 4 is what now? 2. So we have 2. Now we have 7 times 7. That is what? 7 squared, right? So we can write this as square root of 4 is what now? 2. We're not going to be left with square root of 7 times 7, that is 7 squared. Divided by 4 minus 7 is minus 3. Okay, so we have 16 minus 8 with 7 plus 4 with 7 minus 7 squared in square root. Square cancels the square, so I left what now? 2 times 7, that is 14. Divided by minus 3. Okay, and let's simplify further. 16, okay, let's simplify further. 16 minus 14 is what? Is 2. Okay, so I'm not going to be left with 2. Okay, now minus 8 to 7 plus 4 to 7. That is minus 4 to 7 over minus 3. Okay, that's exactly what I'm going to have. Minus 8 to 7 plus 4 to 7. How do you do that? Okay, now it's like saying minus 8 mango plus 4 mangoes. Okay, which means we are saying 4 mangoes minus 8 mangoes. They have what? Minus 4 mangoes. Okay, because this to 7 is common, that's how I'm subtracting. So I left with this guy I've seen here. Now, how do you simplify? The minus must go to the top. I'm not going to be left with minus 2 because minus goes to the top. Minus and this is plus 4 root 7 divided by 3. And this can be written as 4 root 7 minus 2 all over 3. And that is the right answer. Very, very easy. I'll give you guys some time to understand what is written on the board. Alright, I can see some persons are saying my camera is blurry. I will try and perhaps it's your network. Perhaps it's your network. Okay, now somebody said I should go back. So let me explain again. So for question 2, we're having 8 plus root 28 divided by 2 plus root 7. Okay, that's what we are having. 8 plus root 28 divided by 2 plus root 7. Now, how do we solve it? Whenever you're having a sum and you're seeing a denominator like this, what is the denominator? Okay, we're having a square root in the denominator. What are we going to do? We rationalize. What is rationalization? That is the process of eliminating the sum from the denominator. That is what we call now rationalization. Okay, the process of eliminating a sum from what now? A denominator. Okay, now how do you rationalize? For a case like this, rationalize by multiplying by the conjugate. What is a conjugate? If we're having 2 plus root 5, the conjugate of this guy is 2 minus root 5. That is where there is plus, replace it with what now? Minus. Or where there is minus, replace it with plus. So if you're having, for example, k plus 4, what is the conjugate? K minus 4. Conjugate simply means replacing plus with minus or minus with plus. Okay, that is exactly what conjugate means. Okay, so we're having in this case 2 plus root 7. Okay, what is the conjugate of 2 plus root 7? 2 minus root 7. So I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by 2 minus root 7. So you have 2 minus root 7 over 2 minus root 7. Multiplying the question here. Okay, that is what I'm seeing here. So from here, we're going to put this in bracket. The top multiplies top, bottom multiplies bottom. So 8 plus 28, 2 minus 7, they are multiplying each other. And as well, the bottom, 2 plus 7, 2 minus 7 is also what now multiplying each other. Okay, now 8 times 2 is what now? 16. 8 times minus 7 is minus 8 to 7. Okay, now 28 times 2 is 2 to 28. And with 28 times minus 7, we have what now? Complete one square root, we have 28 times 7. Now at the bottom, which is denominator, we apply what we call difference of two squares. What is the difference of two squares? If you're having a number square and another number square, you can put them in bracket like this. Add them, subtract them, and multiply them. So if you're having, for example, 8 squared minus 7 squared, okay, you can simply what now? Do 8 plus 7 times 8 minus 7 to give you the same answer. The same way, if you're having something like this, you can come back to what now? The initial question. Okay, that is what you're having here. So you're having 2 plus 7, 2 minus 7. You can also come back to what now? The initial question. Okay, now what is the initial question? Remember, we're always picking the negative one. So if you're having two brackets multiplying each other, one is plus, one is minus. Okay, pick the negative one and square each of them. We are going to pick the negative one, which is 2 squared minus 7 all squared. So we have 2 squared minus 7 all squared. Don't make a mistake of squaring only 7. Only if you square it to get the same thing. But most times you make mistakes like that. So it's better to put it in bracket. Square. Okay, from here we have to simplify. We are done solving so to simplify to get our final answer. We have 16, which is this, minus 8 to 7, which we are having here, plus 2 is 28. Now, I can break it down. 28, I know there is 4 times 7, but why did I choose to use 4? I could have easily done maybe 14 times 2. But the reason why I chose 4 is so that when I break it down, when I put 4 times 7, I can take the squares of 4, and this number will become smaller. And also, if I left with 7, there's no with 7 here, I know that something is common. Now, you get used to these things by practicing multiple examples. Okay, that is how you know what to use. So instead of putting 14 times 2, okay, I chose to put now 4 times 7. Now, for this other part, 28 again, we put 4 times 7. Let us simplify. On the bottom, 2 squared is what now 4. 7 square roots all squares. 2 cancel squares, you are left what now 7. Okay, now, what is the next thing? 16 is there, minus 8 with 7 is what I have in here, plus 2. Okay, now square root of 4 is what now? 2. That 2 multiplies it to be having 4. What is left? Square root of 7 minus square root of 4 again is 2. That's what I'm seeing here. What is left? Square root of 7 times 7 is 7 squared. Instead of writing 49, you can put 7 squared, anyone you want. Okay, divided by, at the bottom, 4 minus 7 is minus 3. What is the next step? Okay, now 16 is what we're having here. Minus 8 with 7 is also there. Plus 4 with 7. Okay, square cancel square to be just like what we had here. Our left what now 7. Now that 7 is going to multiply to be 14. Simplify further. 16 minus 14 is what now? 2. Minus 8 with 7 plus 4 with 7. How do you do it? Now, you can ignore the square root of 7. Okay, and subtract it normally. Minus 8 plus 4 is what now? Minus 4, right? Because 8 times 4 minus 8. That's minus 4. Then bring back the 7. You simply can say minus 8a plus 4a, or minus 8 mango plus 4 mango. Okay, that is 4 mango minus 8 mango. That's minus 4 mango. That's what I have here, over minus 3. You can never leave minus and denominator when you are solving. You must take it upward. So you take it upward to multiply this on the top. So the same as multiplying top and bottom by minus. You have 2 times minus 1, you have what now? Minus 2. Minus times minus, you have plus. Okay, now we're left what now? 4 with 7 over what now? The minus has been eliminated. I chose to write the plus first, anyone you want, depending on what is the option. We have 4 with 7 minus 2 all over 3. That is exactly what we're having here. And that is the answer. Okay, if you have any more question again, you can drop it in the comments. Drop it in the comments so that I can see your questions. Drop your questions in the comments. Drop your questions in the comments so that I can see it. Drop your questions in the comments. Drop your questions in the comments. Okay, drop your questions in the comments. Drop your questions in the comments if you have any. Okay, I should explain number one. Explain number one. Okay, I will explain number one. Somebody is asking a question on matrix. Okay, we'll definitely solve a question on matrix. I can still see it in my list. We'll definitely solve a question on matrix. Okay, we'll definitely solve a question on matrix. Now, let me explain number one again. Now, number one is a problem on calculus. Okay, calculus, particularly differentiation. Okay, now, differentiate with respect to x. Y equals 2x minus cos 2x. Now, how do you differentiate 2x? To differentiate a number that just carries x, you want now remove x and the number becomes 2. So, in your JAMB examination, you're going to be doing nothing. So, you can skip from here to here as a smart student. Differentiate 2x, you get 2. Differentiate cos 2x. To differentiate cos 2x, this is differentiation of function of a function. So you have to differentiate 2x first. Differentiate 2x, you get 2. So you put 2 in front. Differentiate cos 2x, okay, you get what now? Minus. When you differentiate cosine, you get minus. Okay, when you differentiate sine, you get what now? Positive cosine. So take note. When you differentiate, if y is equal to sine x, okay, sine x, dy over dx is equal to cos x. Okay, while if y is equal to cos x, dy over dx is equal to minus sine x. Okay, take note. So when you differentiate sine 2x, you get what now? When you differentiate cos 2x rather, you get minus sine 2x, which is what you are seeing in this bracket. But there's already a minus there. Minus and minus, you get what now? Plus. So you have 2 sine x. Okay, very, very easy. Very, very easy. Now, that will be the only two questions I will take before we proceed to the next one, so we can solve some more questions. Okay, so we can solve some more questions. You can take screenshots of the live just in case you need solutions to all of these. Although you can still come back to watch them, you can actually still come back to watch the videos. Okay, if you need more explanations, you can come back to watch the videos. Now, here is another question on the board, question theory. Another question on the board, question theory. The question reads, what is the perimeter of the triangle with vertices A in bracket 3, 2? What, I can take this one off. What is the perimeter of a triangle with vertices, okay, with vertices A in bracket 3, 2, A in bracket 3, 2, okay, B in bracket 3, 5, 3, 5, and C and 6, 2. Okay, and C, we have 6, 2. Okay, what is the perimeter of a triangle with these vertices? Now, vertices are the various points of a triangle. A triangle has 3 points. Okay, this is a triangle. This is a triangle we are having. So if I call here point A, I can call here point B, and I can call here point C. Okay, now take note that all of these values represent x, y. So let's call this, for example, x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3. Okay, x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3. Okay, if you want to attempt this particular question, you can attempt it. If you want to attempt this particular question, you can attempt it. If you want to attempt this particular question, you can attempt it on the board. What is the perimeter of a triangle with vertices? Okay, with vertices 3, 2, 3, 5, 6, 2. What is the perimeter of a triangle with vertices 3, 2, 3, 5, 6, 2? What is the perimeter? You can as well attempt this particular one on the board. You can attempt it, and as well feel free to drop your answers in the comments after solving for it. There are options there, but I don't think the options are necessary. Feel free to drop your answers in the comments. Feel free to drop your answers in the comments. Okay, feel free to drop your answers in the comments. Okay, I'm guessing we have done that. So the question is asking us to find the perimeter. Okay, now first is first, you need to know what perimeter means. Perimeter simply means the total length of the surrounding. Okay, that is from here to here plus here to here plus here to here. That's what we need to understand first. Okay, now we're having various coordinates. For this one, we're having 3, 2. That's what we're having for A. For vertex C, we're having 6, 2. And for vertex B, we're having 3, 5. Now to solve this, you simply use the distance between 2 points. That is, the distance between these 2 points, we get it. Distance between these 2 points, we get it. Distance between these 2 points, we get it. And then sum it up. That's the trick. Okay. So distance from A to B, okay, distance from A to B plus distance from B to C plus distance from what now? A to C. Okay, distance from A to C. Distance from A to C. Okay, positive values only. Take note. Positive values only. Okay, so you can see I'm putting them in bars. Okay, we have what now? A, C. Now what is the distance from A to B? Remember the formula. What is the formula for solving distance between 2 points? The distance between 2 points, okay, distance between 2 points D is given as the square root of x2 minus x1 all squared plus y2 minus y1 all what now? All squared. Okay, hence D is equal to the square root of. Okay, let's solve for the first one. Let us solve for the first one. So for AB, it will be equal to the square root of, okay, the square root of, now this is AB, okay, we call this x1, y1, x2, y2, okay, so to be x2 minus what now, x1, so we have 3 minus 3, we have 3 minus 3 all squared plus what, 5 minus 2, 5 minus 2 all what now, all squared, okay, hence we're going to be having AB is equal to 3 minus 3 is what now? 0. Okay, 0 squared is what now? 0. Okay, so we have 0 plus 5 minus 3 is 3. Okay, so we have 3 squared. And this will be equal to what now? 3 squared is square root, that's plus 3. Okay, now let's go to the next one. How about the next one? BC. So for BC, we're going to be having the square root, this is B and C. Okay, 6 minus 3, that is 6 minus 3 all squared plus 2 minus 5, 2 minus 5 all squared. And that will be equal to, I want us to solve it without wasting much time. Okay, 6 minus 3, that's what now? 3 squared. So we have the square root of 3 squared plus 2 minus 5, that is minus 3. Now, minus 3 squared is the same thing as 3 squared. Okay, so we have minus 3 squared, minus 3 squared. Okay, so from here, BC will be equal to 3 minus 3 squared is what now? 9 plus another 3 squared is what now? 9. 9 plus 9 is what now? 18. Okay, so you have the square root of 18. The square root of 18. Square root of what now? 18. Now we can break it down using sword, right? What's square root of 18? 18 is 9 times 2. Okay, so we break down the square root. 9 times 2, square root of 9 is 3, so you have 3 root 2. So you have 3 root 2 for that particular distance. Okay, now how about the next one, which is the last one? AC. Okay, AC. Okay, that will be what now? 3 minus 6. You have the square root of 3 minus 6 all squared plus 2 minus 2 all squared. 2 minus 2 all squared. And that's going to be equal to 3 minus 3. That is minus 3 squared plus 2 minus 2. That is 0 squared. So from here, we're going to be having square root of what now? Minus 3 squared. Okay, now instead of saying square cancel square root, as a small student, you want to take the square of minus 3 first. Square of minus 3 is what? That is minus 3 in bracket, all square. That's what now 9. Okay, square root of 9 is what now? It's 3. The reason I'm doing that is because we only want positive values. Never according to this line, we want positive values. Okay, so in case you solve for 2 cancel square root and you're left with minus 3, don't go and use minus 3 to solve. Okay, you have to add all of these values. Okay, so what will be the perimeter? The perimeter, according to this formula, is AB plus BC, okay, plus AC. That is the perimeter. Hence, perimeter will be equal to what is AB on solve? Because AB has 3. So we have 3 units plus BC as what now? 3 with 2. 3 with 2 plus AC, we got it as what now? 3. Go AC as 3. Hence, E is equal to 3 plus 3, that is what now? 9 plus 3 with 2. Or, this can be written as when you factor out 3, we have what now? 2, or that 3 plus with 2, depending on the one that is given in the option. And that is the perimeter of this guy on the board. Okay? 9 plus 3 with 2. 9 plus 3 with 2. I cannot find it in the option. Let's make sure there is no mistake. I can't find it in the option there. Let's make sure we don't have a mistake here. Okay? Let's make sure. Oh, here is the mistake. 3 plus 3 is actually 6. Okay? 3 plus 3 is actually 6, not 9. 3 plus 3 is 6, not 9. Take note of that. 3 plus 3 is 6. So we have 6 plus 3 with 2. And I think this one is in the option. It is option A. 3 plus 6 plus 3 with 2. 6 plus 3 with 2. I hope you guys are following. If you have questions, you can drop it in the comments right away. Okay, if you have questions, you can drop it in the comments. If you have questions, you can drop it in the comments. I want to make sure we solve multiple questions. Multiple questions. Okay, that is exactly what I want to make sure we do. We solve multiple questions. Solve multiple questions. So if you don't understand, you can indicate in the comment section right away. If you do not understand, you can indicate in the comment section. Okay, this is question 3. If there are no questions, we'll be proceeding to question 4. I'm going to be proceeding to question 4. There are no questions, we'll be proceeding to question 4. Okay, over to question 4. Question 4 is, if the total sum of interior angles of a regular polygon, if the total sum of interior angles of a regular polygon with n sides is 1260, if the total sum of interior angles of a regular polygon, emphasis on a regular polygon with n sides, so it has n sides, it is also a regular polygon. Now, whenever you are told a regular polygon, it simply means all sides of the polygon are equal. All sides of the polygon are equal. You know the kinds of polygons we have. We have the triangle, we have the quadrilateral, we have the pentagon, we have the hexagon, we have heptagon, we have octagon, nonagon, decagon, and so on and so forth. Okay, all of these are basic ones that you should know. These are the ones that JAMB usually set. Okay, now in terms of the names, they can tell you a regular hexagon, it has 6 sides. The regular heptagon, it has 7 sides. When they don't give you the name, they can ask you to find the number of sides, so they will not take the name. Okay, hoping that you can solve for it. Okay, hoping that you can solve for it. Now, the question said, if the total sum of interior angle of a regular polygon, I think I should just write it on the board. If the total sum, if the total sum of interior angle, okay, of a regular polygon of n sides, total sum of interior angle of a regular polygon of n sides is 1260. Is 1260. Okay? Calculate the value of one interior angle. Calculate the value. Calculate the value of one interior angle. Calculate the value of one interior angle. Okay? Solution. Calculate the value of one interior angle solution. Okay, if the total sum of interior angle of a regular polygon of n side is 1260. First things first, what should come to your mind is the formula for solving it. Okay, now they want us to calculate the value of one interior angle. Let's say we're having a polygon like this. This is an interior angle, interior angle, interior angle, and all of them are equal. Okay, what they gave us is the total sum of interior angle. That is, it has multiple interior angles. Okay, they added everything and they gave us. They now asked us to determine the sum, a particular interior angle, its size. That is what they want us to find. But before we find it, we need to know how many sides. Because when we divide this total angle, okay, which is the interior, by the number of sides, we get each one. Okay, just the same way the total angle in the triangle is 180. We divide it by the number of sides, 1, 2, 3. So you get each angle to be what now? 180 divided by 3. Okay, for a regular triangle, the triangle is 3 sides equal. Okay, that is an isosceles an equilateral triangle rather. Okay, isosceles triangle has only 2 sides equal. Take note of that. Equilateral triangle has 3 sides equal. So divided by 3, you get each of them. That is 180 divided by 3. Okay, that should be what now? 60 each. Okay. Now, we want to calculate the value of the interior angle. Take note of this formula. The total sum of interior angle for a regular polygon, any regular polygon at all, it is n minus 2 times 180 equals the total what now? Total interior angle. Okay? Now, they already gave us the total interior angle as what now? 1260. Hence, we have n minus 2 times 180 to equal 1260. Okay, we have n minus 2 is equal to 1260 divided by 180. Let's break it down. 0 cancels 0. Okay, what can we divide? 2 can go into 18 to give you 9. 2 can go here to give you 63. Okay, 63 if I'm not mistaken. And then from here, let's just make some calculator to avoid mistakes. Okay, remember in the JAMB examination, we want to be given a calculator. We won't be given a calculator. Okay, we won't be given a calculator. We won't be given a calculator. Or you can make it of the system calculator, although it will show you now. We have 1260 divided by 180. That will give you 7. Okay? So 1260 divided by 180 should give you what now? 7. I think 9 to 60 is also 7 as well. Okay, so from here we have n minus 2 is equal to 7. N is equal to what now? 2 plus 7, that is what now? 9. So the polygon has what now? 9 sides. Okay, now since it has 9 sides, it means it is a nonagon. A nonagon has 9 sides. A regular polygon with 9 sides. Now, how do we get each interior angle? We are going to divide this total angle they give us. The total interior angle, we are going to divide it by the number of sides. Okay, so for each interior angle will be equal to 1260 divided by 9. Now, dividing 1260 by 9, what do you get? 1260 divided by 9. That will give you 140 degrees. We have 140 what now? Degrees. Very, very easy. And that is how questions like this are being tackled. Okay? That is how questions like that are being tackled on angles. Okay, somebody said she can't see what I wrote there. Eddie, you cannot see it. Okay, let me try and explain so you can write it. Even if you can't see the calculation, I believe you can finish it up yourself. N minus 2 times 180 equals the total number. So you have n minus 2, okay, times 180 equals 1260. Okay, equals 1260. Let me try and make it bold. Let me try and make it bold. Okay, so I'm going to be having n minus 2 times 180 equals 1260. Okay, so we have n minus 2 is equal to 1260 over 180. Okay, n minus 2 is equal to, divide these two guys to get 7. Hence, n is equal to what now? 9. So each interior angle will be equal to the total interior angle 1260 divided by 9. And that will give you 140 degrees. 140 degrees. 140 degrees. 140 degrees. If you have questions, you can drop it. You can drop it in the comments so I can respond to you. If you have questions, you can drop it in the comments. I'll respond to you. If you have any questions, you can drop it in the comments. I will respond to you. If you have any questions, you can drop it in the comment section. I will respond to you. I'm going to give you guys some seconds to at least understand this one in particular. I'll give you guys some few seconds to understand these ones we have done so far. Okay, I'm guessing you guys have had enough time to understand what we have done so far. Let us take the next set of questions on the board. Okay, let us take the next set of questions. Okay, that is question 4. Let us take question 5. Let us take question 5. Now, this one is on sequences and series. This particular question is on sequences and series. It reads the sum to infinity of a geometric progression GP is 100. The sum to infinity of a geometric progression GP is 100. The sum to infinity of the geometric progression GP is 100. Sum to infinity of the geometric progression GP is 100. If the common ratio is minus 1 over 2, find the first term. If the common ratio, okay, is minus 1 over 2, find the first term. If the common ratio is minus 1 over 2, find the first term. And there are options there as well. There are options there as well. Okay? There are also options there. But there will be no need writing them. We have 50, 200 over 3, 150, 30, and 133 for infinity. Now, to solve this one, you need to understand that this question is from geometric progression under sequences and series. We have AP, we have GP, we have harmonic progression, okay? But JAMB only restricts you guys to AP and GP. Now, understanding this aspect of mathematics is very, very easy. It's one of the easiest aspects that you come across, okay? Now, how do you solve this guy? Sum to infinity, which means we are adding some set of numbers to infinity, and these numbers are in geometric progression. How do you know they are in geometric progression? They have a common ratio. A common ratio, but for AP they have a common what now? A common difference. Okay, now take note, the sum to infinity formula is first term divided by 1 minus common ratio. Now sum to infinity was given as what now? 100. We have 100 is equal to first term is what we have to solve for, minus 1 over divided by 1 minus, okay? Now common ratio is what? Common ratio is given as minus 1 over 2, so we have minus 1 over 2. Okay, and this will be equal to, we have 100 is equal to a divided by 1 minus times minus is plus 1 over 2. Okay, 1 plus 1 over 2 is 3 over 2, right? So we are left with 100 is equal to a over 3 over 2. This 2 has to go to the top. You cannot see the bottom, because for b. So we have 100 is equal to what now? 2a over 3 because multiply. We have 3 times 100 equals 2a. 2a equals 100 times 3 is what now? 300. Hence a is equal to 300 divided by 2, and a is equal to 150. 150 is the answer. I think that is option A. So you might be wondering, why can you say the first term is 150 and the common ratio, and you are adding everything and you are arriving at 100, but you know that the common ratio is negative. So if I multiply 150 by minus 1 over 2, okay, that's actually going to be reducing. It becomes negative, positive, negative, positive. Okay, that is how we have sum to infinity, and that is the formula. So take note, for sum to infinity, if you are given a question that has to do with sum to infinity, take note of this formula. Sum to infinity, take note of that formula. Sum to infinity, take note of that formula. If you have other questions, you can as well drop it in the comment section. I'll respond to you right away. Right now, I'm looking at the comments. So if you have questions, drop it in the comment section right now. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments. I will respond to you. Okay, you want me to solve a question on binary operation? Okay, binary operation. Let's quickly check for a question on binary operation. Let us quickly check for a question on binary operation. Okay, I have the question here on binary operation. I'm going to read the question. Okay, let's write it on the board. Let's take this question on binary operation according to the comments. A binary operation is defined on the set of real numbers. Okay, this is question 6. A binary operation is defined on the set of real numbers. They actually give us the operation, a binary operation, and this is the operation. Take note, okay? It's defined on the set of real numbers, okay, real numbers by real numbers R by A operation B. A operation B is equal to B squared minus A squared divided by 2AB. A operation B is equal to B squared minus A squared divided by 2AB, okay, times A. And they also further said that B is not equal to 0. B is not equal to 0 where A and B are real numbers. Find the value of, okay, where A and B are real numbers. Don't need for me to write it because I want to make sure this space contains the complete solution. Okay, find the value of minus 1 over 2 operation 2. Find the value of minus 1 over 2 operation 2. Now, this thing is very simple. Many of you do not understand. If you are giving A operation B is equal to a particular thing, okay, I have to find another one. Minus 1 over 2 operation 2. This means we are going to compare this guy here. So anywhere we see A, it is minus 1 over 2. Anywhere we see B, it is what now? 2. So minus 1 over 2 operation 2 is going to be imputed into this formula. Hence, you can say minus 1 over 2 operation 2 according to this setting that is given to us is equal to B squared, which is what now? 2. So anywhere we see B, we put now 2. So we have 2 squared, okay, minus A squared is what? Minus 1 over 2 all squared, okay, divided by 2 times A is what? Minus 1 over 2, and B is what? 2, okay, times A is also there, and A is what now? Times minus 1 over 2. So from here we simplify. That is simply what this whole operation is about. Hence, we are going to have minus 1 over 2 operation 2 is equal to 2 squared is what? 4. Okay, now minus 1 over 2 squared. Remember, since there's a bracket, the minus will disappear. So you have 1 over 2 squared. 1 over 2 squared is 1 over 4. So you have 1 over 4. I shouldn't be teaching you guys how to square this bracket at this point in time. Okay, divided by 2 cancels 2. So you are left with 2 times minus 1, that's what now, minus 2. Times minus 1 over 2. This minus can cancel this minus. Okay, 2 times 2 is 4. So we're going to be having 4 at the denominator. Now, what is the LCM of 4 and 1? We have what now? Another 4. Okay, 4 into 4 is what now? 1 times 4. That's what now? 4 minus 4 into 4 is 1 times 1. That's 1. So hence we're going to be having 4 minus 1. That's 3 over 4. Okay, times 1 over 4. Now this will be equal to 3 over what now? 16. Okay, 3 over 16 is the right answer. 3 over 16 is the right answer. Well, I can't see 3 over 16 in the option. I can't see 3 over 16 in the option, so we might as well check our solution to see if there are any errors. And to see if there are any errors. To see if there are any errors. Now, what I noticed between the differences in our questions is that the one they solve did not carry A. Okay, did not carry A at the side. Okay, so since this guy is carrying A, let's assume it is correct. Okay, the actual question did not carry A, but it was there in the question, but in the solution it was not there. Okay, B squared minus A squared divided by 2AB. Okay, now A operation B is what we're having here. So if you are solving this whole solution is correct. Our answer is 3/16. And that is how questions of binary operations are being solved. I'm sure you got that well. Okay, the person that asked me to solve a question on binary operation, I'm sure you understood it. Now, there's actually more to binary operation, okay? But we can't just be treating binary operation only at this point. Okay, make sure you're practicing all of these questions with me. There's more to binary operation, but we can't be treating just that. Okay, there's actually more to binary operation. If you have another question, you can drop it in the comments. I will respond to you. If you have another question, you can drop it in the comments. I will respond to you. If you have another question, drop it in the comment section. I will respond to you. Okay? For the sake of those persons in our English classes, I think we might have to. Okay, you want a explanation for it. Let me explain again. Now, this is a question on binary operation. Okay, binary operation is an aspect of mathematics, still not difficult. Okay, if this is operation, okay, one of these guy here is an operation. This one that has a delta function. Okay, it's an operation. The question is a binary operation. This guy here is defined on the set of real numbers. Okay, by a operation b is equal to b squared minus a squared, okay, over 2ab times a. It's really, it will actually not make real sense because a can cancel a. But because it's given in the question, we have to do this like that. Okay, so we are having a operation b equals b squared minus a squared times a divided by 2ab. Okay, that is the question. Okay, find the value of minus 1 over 2 operation 2. Okay, to solve for minus 1 over 2 operation 2, we have to impute it into this formula. That is minus 1 over 2 will become what now? A, and b will become what now? 2. Which means anywhere you see b, replace it with 2. Anywhere you see a, replace what now? Minus 1 over 2. Okay, so if you put it into this formula, we are having 2 squared minus the bracket minus 1 over 2 all squared divided by 2 in bracket minus 1 over 2 times 2. Okay, times minus 1 over 2. Now this minus 1 over 2 is what now? A. This 2ab, we have 2 times a is what? Minus 1 over 2. B is what? 2. The a here is what now? Minus 1 over 2. B is what now? 2. So we have to solve this one using mathematical functions. Okay, the same way we simplify mathematical equations or expressions. Okay, so we are having 2 squared for minus 1 over 2 squared is 1 over 4. You should know that at this point in time. Okay, and then divided by 2 cancels to your left, what now? Minus 2 at the bottom, times 1 over 2. Okay, minus and cancel minus. From there you simplify, you get 3/16. Very, very easy to understand. Very, very easy to understand. So for the sake of your English class, we are going to call it a day here. Okay, in our next class, we are going to solve longer examination questions. Okay, longer examination questions. And if you are seeing this video and you are not part of our JAMB revelation class, you should register for our JAMB revelation class. We are solving all likely JAMB examination questions that you encounter in your examination. Okay, now if you wish to register for a lesson, you can go to my YouTube page. Okay, click on the link over there and send me a message on WhatsApp. Let me know that you want to register for the class. Okay, see you in the next